Okay, we'll get underway. Welcome, everyone. This is our fourth annual Veterans Rally. My name is Dan England. I'm chairman of the board of the company. And again, I welcome all of you here. We're mindful of the sun, and so we'll move the program along rapidly. I think you'll enjoy what we have. I'd like to ask you at this time to rise. And we will be honored by hearing first of all, we'll have, I'd like to introduce Don Rivera, who is a permit agent at CR England. He's a very talented and great singer. He sings he leads a congregation, a church congregation, and over the years he's developed his talent at singing. We're very pleased to have him here today to sing the national anthem. Following that, we'd ask you to remain standing. We'll have Stephen Lopez, one of our honored veterans, who has served in the Army 24 years and is currently a military recruiter. So he will do the national anthem at that point.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red flare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free, in the home of the brave.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
You may be seated. Thank you. Again, thanks to Don and Stephen for their part on the program today. We are honored to have so many people here and to be holding this rally for a fourth year. Our veterans mean a great deal to us here at CR England, and we are very pleased to be honoring them. I would like to introduce some of our special guests. First of all, Brigadier General Christine Burkle. Would you please stand, General? Let's give her a hand. We'll hear from her a little later, but she's currently the Assistant Adjutant General for Air and also serves as the Commander of the Utah National Guard. We will be hearing from her later. We also have some other guests that are with us today. First of all, Mike Maurer, Deputy Chief of Staff to Governor Herbert. Please stand up, Mike. Bob Conde, who's a family friend and veterans advocate for CR England. He has been such a great... Stand up, Bob. Yeah, he's been a great help to all of our veterans initiatives. We're so proud of him. Next is Colonel Gary Harder. Stand up, Gary. He's the Secretary to the Veterans Administration. for the state of Utah. He's been with us several years before, and also State Representative Corey Pearson, also here for his second time. He works for the Utah Department of Veteran and Military Affairs. We also welcome family members. Of course, my father Gene is here. His wife Dorothy and Bill and Fern England are here with us as well. Let's give them a hand as well. Thank you. You know, we have other guests that are with us, vendors, customers. We appreciate all of our drivers, our non-drivers, independent contractors. All of these groups are represented here today, and we thank you for being here. You know, we chose this day because it's very close to Flag Day, which was just 2 days ago on June 14th. And Americans commemorate the adoption of the Stars and it's on this day that Americans commemorate the adoption of the Stars and Stripes as the official flag of the United States. Our flag is a symbol for the many great things that this nation stands for, including freedom, pride, opportunity, all of which has come because of the sacrifice of so many brave women and men who have served this great country. As you look at the flag, we hope that you stop and think about those who have given so much that we can have so much. So we are so proud to celebrate them today. We celebrate not only the veterans who work at CR England, but all veterans throughout our community. I would now like to introduce and have Mike Maurer come forward. Again, Deputy Chief of Staff for Governor Herbert. He'll be reading a letter from the governor.
I thank you for the opportunity to be here and to represent Governor Herbert. We just finished following Stephen Lopez as he led us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And the last phrase is for with liberty and justice for all. That liberty and that justice for all is continually under attack, and who have continually stepped forward to defend us from those who would seek to take away our liberties are our veterans. And so it is with that spirit in mind that the governor sends this letter, and a special thanks to CR England. To CR England Incorporated, I applaud your continued commitment to honor our former servicemen and women and to provide them meaningful training and career opportunities within your company. Thank you for acting upon your pledge to hire veterans through the Utah Patriot Partnership Program. CR England pays tribute to its company's founders' military history by continuing to invest in the brave men and women who, at some point in their life, raised their right arm to defend our great nation. Utah has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the nation. Our local transportation companies play an essential role in actively recruiting and hiring veterans, maintaining Utah's status as the crossroads of the West. I am proud of our economy and recognize the mutual benefits of these efforts. In fact, as a brief aside, in 2013, when we started some of these initiatives with Gary Harder, we had 7% veterans unemployment. Now we're down to below 3% veterans unemployment, and it's thanks to people like CR England and Company, and it's thanks to you veterans who found a great place to live and work here in Utah. Events such as this, where we honor Utah veterans, and in particular female veterans who make up 11% of the veterans that call Utah home, are incredibly important to our community. We are fortunate to live in a patriotic state. More than 150,000 veterans call Utah home, and our residents and employers work together to show our veterans how much we appreciate them and value their service. Thank you again to not only the veterans, but to the people at CR England for their commitment and efforts to honor those who have served. Signed, Utah Governor Gary R. Herbert, and a big thanks to CR England and the wonderful people here at England Trucking.
We appreciate Mike being here today representing our governor. I'd now like to introduce my father. He's kind of an icon around this place. You know, in the 1940s, he served in the military and was eventually assigned to serve in the South Pacific, specifically in Okinawa, where he earned a Bronze Star. And I'd like to welcome him to the podium here this morning to tell us anything he wants to tell us.
Thank you, Dan. I like that introduction. That gives me wide open. It's a real privilege to be here today and honor veterans who have served our land. It's just a wonderful thing, and we certainly appreciate them as workers in our company, and we honor them today. I love this land. I'd like to tell you a little bit of a story about why I do. I was born in 1919, October 24th, in Plain City, Utah, 1 hour north of here. I started school in September 1925. On that morning, the bell rang at 9 o'clock, and we assembled in a formation out in front of the school. That's the way it was done in Plain City, 1925. They turned on the graphophone, and we marched to an army march into our classes in Plain City. The teachers there taught us a lot about America and gave us a real affection for this country. They taught us about Washington and Lincoln and the founding fathers and so many things, and I think my classmates all felt as I did. If needed, we're ready to serve our country. Here some time ago, not too long ago, the town of Plain City erected a monument to honor the veterans that served in World War II. I went up there to see the monument and took the information off of it. I'm going to tell you about it now. At that time, there were 600 people in the little town of Plain City. There were 72 that served in the Army. There were 40 that served in the Navy. There were 6 that served in the Marines and 1 nurse. 119 people serving our land out of a 600 population. I felt like that was almost an overkill, but it indicated the love that was held in Plain City for our land. And it is a wonderful land. There is another story to this, though, and that is what's happened to Plain City after the war. There have come out of the city of Plain City 4 trucking companies, successful trucking companies. Swift Transportation, Knight Transportation, C.R. England and Sons, Pride Transport. These 4 companies are presently employing 36,000 people. 36,000 people out of this little town. Is America a land of opportunity? You bet it is. May God continue to bless America. Thank you.
Thanks to my dad. You know, we've got our centennial coming up in 2020, and we know he'll be here with us. That will be, you know, he'll be 101 about that time, but so he's got a lot of years left in him, that's for sure. You know, our experience with hiring military veterans has been just wonderful. The reason we like veterans is, of course, they are committed, they're hardworking, they're disciplined, they're focused, and they are really team players. Those are the reasons why we like veterans so much. Now, before this event today, as you walked in, hopefully those of you who are veterans grabbed a flag representing your branch of the military. And right now we would like to honor all veterans who are with us today. We invite the veteran in attendance today to please stand and wave your branch flags as your branch song is played. We're going to do that right now. So all veterans, please stand, and let's play these songs. Thank you. That was awesome. Makes us all feel proud to hear those hymns. This year, we have a new and exciting opportunity to add to our veteran efforts. I am pleased to announce the Department of Labor and Veteran Affairs approved an apprentice program we are calling Operation Success. This program allows GI Bill eligible veterans to earn up to an additional $15,900 tax-free their first year from the VA in addition to regular CR England pay. After that time, veterans can earn a certificate from the Department of Labor certifying completion of the Professional Truck Driving Apprentice Program. We are proud to have a program that supports our veterans and ensures that they are set up for success as they continue with the purpose in their career here at CR England. It is our pleasure to introduce 5 military veteran employees today. These team members are hand-selected to be recognized today for the great job at their great job at CR England and for serving our country. Each of the drivers will each be driving one of these trucks, and you can see these brand new ones we've got out here on display today. I would ask, when I read your names, please stand and remain standing if you would. First, our first veteran driver is Ronald Floyd. Ronald was born in Missouri, but now calls North Texas home. He served in the Army. He was in the 82nd Airborne as a paratrooper for a total of 8 years. 4 years active and 4 in the Reserves and National Guard. Ronald received the Expedition Air Force Medal and served in Fort Bragg, Fort Lewis, and Fort Hood, among others. Ronald has been with C.R. England for nearly 5 years and currently drives in Regional Fleet M3. He has 3 children and 1 stepchild. We appreciate your service with C.R. England and the military, Ronald. Thank you. Stand. Okay. The next honored veteran is Alan Blake. Alan served for 26 years in the Navy, flying combat search and rescue. During his service, he traveled all over the world and was a part of several campaigns, including Desert Shield, Desert Storm. He first started his time in the Navy as a jet engine mechanic and went on to be a rescue swimmer and instructor, and weapons and tactics instructor. Being an instructor led him to eventually become a Phase 1 trainer in the dedicated fleet J-8. He was born in Trenton, New Jersey, and he's now living in San Diego. Alan has been married to his wife for 27 years. Together they have 2 daughters, 5 grandchildren, and a sponsor child in Indonesia. When Alan isn't driving, he enjoys scuba diving, biking, shooting, compound bows, and playing darts. He mentions the military has taught him to be proactive while driving, not just reactive. Thank you for your service, Alan. Next, we have Anthony Strop. Tony was in the Army for 7 years, ending his military career as a battalion motor officer. He served in several locations, including the National Training Center, I believe that's in Colorado, Bosnia, and Aberdeen Proving Grounds. Tony received the Army Achievement Medal, among other medals during his service. Tony has been married to his wife for 10 years. He lives in Kansas. He has 3 sons, 1 daughter, and 3 stepchildren. Tony works in the OTR Fleet X6. His decision to become a truck driver has a unique background, as he drives as a tribute to his daughter, who he lost a couple of years ago. To this day, he doesn't miss a beat, thinking of her each time he gets in the truck. When he's not driving, he owns and operates his small oil and gas exploration and production company in Kansas, and enjoys learning more about history and geology. Thank you for your service, Tony. Next, we have Irene Quincy. She is the first female veteran for C.R. England to drive one of these honored veteran trucks. Isn't that awesome? Irene served in the Army for 6 years. During her service, she was a sergeant in the Special Forces, utilizing her telecommunications skills, specializing in encryption and decryption in a top-secret environment. Boy, there's a lot about her we don't know, and got to be careful. Irene joined C.R. England in 2015 and currently drives on the dedicated Cisco fleet. She keeps her truck in top shape. She is accident-free, on time for all her deliveries, and her work ethic is aspired to by many. Irene comes from a long family of members in the military, with her father and brother both in the Marines. Although she said she was a little bit of a rebel and not following suit in the Marines. Irene has 2 sons, 1 granddaughter, and lives in Ohio. In her free time, she enjoys painting, crafting, and helping others. Thank you for your service, Irene. Last but not least, we have Andrea Griffiths. Please stand, Andrea. Yeah, a lot sitting out there know her well. She served in the Air Force for 6 years as a Boy, we've got more of this business. As a cryptologic linguist for the 93rd Intelligence Squadron and ending her time as a senior airman. She helped on various missions with intelligence gathering and analysis, as well as receiving the NSA Appreciation Award during 9/11. She now works in our OTR customer service and has felt her time in the military helped her pay better attention to the details in her career. Andrea is a very active citizen of Kearns, Utah, with her son. She enjoys participating in the local school and community teaching of the military to keep involved and contribute to the greater good. In her free time, she also enjoys to craft, whether it is cross-stitch, crochet, scrapbook, or PTA posters. We thank you for your service, Andrea. Let's give all of them one more big round of applause. Thank you. Now, it's my extreme honor and pleasure to introduce Brigadier General Christine Burkle. General Burkle is the Assistant Adjutant General Air and serves as the commander of the Utah Air National Guard. She is responsible for the command, control, and operations of plans and programs for more than 1,400 Utah Air National Guard personnel located at the Roland R. Wright Air National Guard base here in Salt Lake. General Burkle was commissioned in 1988 through the Reserved Officer Training Corps at the University of North Carolina and graduated first in her undergraduate navigator training class at Mather Air Force Base in 1990. In her career, she has been deployed for Operations Desert Shield and Storm, Uphold Democracy, Joint Forge, Allied Forces, and Enduring Freedom, and has over 3,000 flying hours in the KC-135. That's these tankers, is that correct? These tankers you'll see based over here at the airport. General Burkle has received several awards, some of which are the Meritorious Service Medal, Air Force Outstanding Unit Award, National Defense Service with Bronze Star, Armed Forces Expeditionary Medal, Kosovo Campaign Medal with Bronze Star, among many others. When she isn't working, she spends time with her 4 stepdaughters, 1 daughter, and 4 grandchildren here in Salt Lake. And I hope she spends a little time with her husband, who is also a pilot. He's down in Atlanta He's down in Atlanta right now training. He's a Delta pilot, and he's training to fly the 777s. We are truly honored to hear from her today, and would now like to turn the time over to her.
Whoa, I'll hold on to that. Wow, this is cool. Not really cool, though, but I got 7 minutes for you, so hang in there. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Jean. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, veterans, for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you today. I could tell the minute I walked through the door to CR England last month that this was a very special place, especially when 97-year-old Gene England met me at the door. And I remember clearly the first thing he said after "nice to meet you," and he said it again today: "I love this country." I couldn't agree more, Mr. England. And this being a family-owned business, 2 of his sons were there to meet me and brag about all of you, especially the veterans who work here at CR England. Okay, so I decided I had to try to tell a truck driving joke. Because I'm kind of bored of military jokes, so I started doing research, and I found only one that I could actually tell in this forum. And if you've heard it before, sorry, I'll get the groan meter after this because I'm sure that you've probably all heard it. A trucker gets lost one day and, as luck would have it, comes to a low bridge and gets stuck under it. The cars are backed up for miles behind him, and eventually a cop car pulls up. And the cop gets out and walks around to the truck driver and says, "Got stuck, sir?" And the trucker replies, "No, I was delivering this bridge and I ran out of gas." You know that one. But seriously, there are 2 themes I'd like to talk to you about today that are what I think draws veterans to CR England and to a tough job like truck driving: patriotism and service. They're the reasons why most of us raised our right hands to serve in the world's greatest military, and what most of us feel strongly about: love of our country and the desire to serve our fellow citizens. There's something we can commit our hearts and minds to. And while I know that what you did in the military and what you're doing now can sometimes be characterized as hours of boredom sprinkled with moments of sheer terror and excitement, I believe you should know that what you've done both in and out of uniform contributes greatly to the success and viability of this country. So I used to think I was pretty patriotic. I respected the flag, which, by the way, I should have been saluting the flag, but I'm always so used to telling somebody telling me present arms that I went, oh. But I respect the flag, and I get emotional every time I hear the national anthem. Thank you for singing that today. And I feel proud every time I put on this uniform. But my feelings about patriotism actually have changed a lot over the last 3 years. And I'll tell you why. I've had the privilege of visiting 3 of our country's Civil War battlefields. So I was a math major in college, so I didn't really study a lot of history. And so studying these battles and studying these battlefields was really eye-opening for me. And it's actually part of our professional development as senior officers and senior enlisted in the Utah National Guard, thanks to my boss, 2-star Army Major General Burton. He's an Army guy, but he's a great leader, I have to say. You can tell him I said that, Gary. So studying and visiting Gettysburg, Chickamauga, and the Battle of the Crater taught me so much about what our country's made of and how thankful we should be that our society actually reconciled and rebuilt such a great nation after such a bitter fight. And it made me ponder what I really know about who we are, where we've been, and where we're going. I learned that the men who led both sides of the fight had pretty much all gone to West Point together. They were buds. Some had fought together in the Mexican-American War, and a lot of them they were friends. But here they were, asked to serve on 2 sides of a divided nation. And I have to say, I'm also very grateful that I'll never have to do that, I hope. So what really struck me as so important about how our nation became what it is today were 2 particular speeches delivered by 2 very important leaders during the Civil War. The first was Abraham Lincoln, who delivered his 2nd inaugural speech on March 4th, 1865, at a time when victory over the Confederacy was within days and slavery was near an end. But Lincoln did not speak of happiness. He did not gloat. He did not take a tone of triumph, but of profound sadness. His speech concluded, with malice to none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds, to care for him who shall have borne the battle and for his widow and his orphan, to do all which may achieve and cherish a just and lasting peace among ourselves and with all nations. And then just a few weeks later, once the war had reached its conclusion, a Civil War Confederate general told his troops in a farewell address, and to the men who'd fought so hard but had lost the war, civil war such as you have just passed through naturally engenders feelings of animosity, hatred, and revenge. It is our duty to divest ourselves of all such feelings, and as far as it is in our power to do so, cultivate friendly feelings toward those whom we have so long contended, and heretofore so widely but honestly differed. Neighborhood feuds, personal animosities, and private differences should be blotted out. And when you return home, a manly, straightforward course of conduct will secure the respect of your enemies. Whatever your responsibilities may be to government, to society, or to individuals, meet them like men. And I would have to say, women. Wow. These 2 leaders on 2 bitter sides of a terrible war wanted nothing more than to move our nation forward under one flag and one government. I feel so grateful to these men that they had such a strong desire to rebuild and rebind our nation. And as far as I'm concerned, they were true patriots who saw that we had to somehow find a way to be the United States of America. Well, I know the time we're living in right now seems dark, and our country has some deep divisions. We must all remember that we're Americans, and the strength of our democracy was proven after the Civil War, and our Constitution grants us more freedoms than any other civilized society in the world today. We should not forget that our enemies, both foreign and domestic, would like nothing more than to see us divided again. But as I've had the great privilege of serving our country, I believe we can be stronger than ever if we deepen our commitment to America and each other. I challenge all of you to try to increase your knowledge of our great American history, whether it be stopping and reading a roadside marker or visiting a great battlefield. And I challenge you to find your own deeper sense of patriotism. So now to service. When people thank me for my service, I always respond, thank you for your support. And I'd be lying if I didn't admit to you all here today that I haven't always acted like a huge supporter of your current profession. Nor have I thought a lot about thanking you for your service when I'm I-15 and have decided that it's your fault that I'm late because I'm boxed in and I can't pass you. So I'll just say it here today. Thank you for your service. You are true American heroes for the service you all provide our country. Okay, one last joke. I saw a bumper sticker on a truck that said, "If you don't like trucks, stop buying so much stuff." Stuff wasn't the word on the bumper sticker, but you get the picture. So to the men and women we're honoring here today, Ronald, Alan, Tony, Irene, and Andrea, thank you for your service and sacrifices that I know you've made, especially in time away from your families, so that we can have food on our table, parts for our cars, toys, computers, you name it. And to all of the drivers and everyone on the team here at CR England, I just want to personally say thank you for your service because I need you. And to the drivers, you've probably had a load of something someone on the other end needs. And like Gene tells a great story, he told me a great story about losing a truckload of onions on I-80 when it was a 2-lane highway. Thankfully, he was able to recover most of them and truck on. Thank God they weren't tomatoes. But I want to thank you, sir, for your service to our country. In closing, thank you for your patriotism. Be proud of your service to our nation, both in and out of uniform. And as CR England comes up on its 100th anniversary, thank you for hiring, supporting, and honoring veterans. Thank you for this great opportunity to spend time with such amazing patriots. God bless you, God bless your families, and God bless America. Thank you. And if I may, sir, to give
Okay, yeah. Why don't you just say what you're doing?
Thank you. So I'd like to just take a minute and give each of the honorees here my personal coin for excellence, and also say thank you for your patience of listening to my bad jokes.
Just stay right here with me for just a minute, if you would. It certainly gives me a lot of comfort to have someone such as General Burkle wearing the uniform of our country. And I'd like to thank her so much for being here today. And of course, we want to honor her today with our Honored Veteran Award. We began this tradition last year. You'll remember we had please sit. Last year, as you'll remember, we had Colonel Gail Halverson here, the candy bomber, and that was a great thing. He's an amazing man. He's a contemporary of my dad's in terms of age. So, but he spoke with a strong voice and left a great message, and we were grateful to have him here. But we have here an award, our Honored Veteran Award, that we would like to present to the General. And again, just symbolic of our appreciation for all you do for us, our nation, our state, and all veterans who serve in the military. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. I also got one of those cool trucks, too, when I came to visit last month. But I love this. Thank you. I love the eagle as it represents our country.
I should also mention that we have a similar award in our lobby, and that we started last year, and it's engraved with Colonel Halverson's name, and now General Burkle's name will appear on that award as we continue and over the years to honor many people who have made significant contributions to our nation. Well, this concludes our rally. Thank you for all coming. Let's give one final hand to our people we've honored here today. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, everyone.